First impressions of a new car like this Peugeot 406 tend to be subjective. You go by your initial seat-of-the-pants feelings about it, and to some extent, your experience of its predecessors. Now, I have to admit to a soft spot for big Peugeots. I used to own a ratty old 504 estate years ago, and as the Irish would say, you couldn't kill it with a stick. Peugeot had a history of making really tough cars. The 403 and the 404 were legendary in East Africa for keeping going, where everything else either disintegrated on the corrugated dirt roads or sank in the mud. That reputation for toughness and durability has been passed on down the Peugeot generations, and it's always been an important selling point on the home market. In France, as in the rest of Europe, there's very few company cars. People buy cars individually. Now, Peugeot has always appealed to the solid, respectable, middle-class French. And this car is aimed fair and square at that core market. In Britain, of course, things are very different. 25% of all our sales come from cars of this size, and the vast majority are bought by companies. So the 406 is up against fierce competition from cars like Mondeo, Vectra, Primera and Laguna. The list seems endless. If there are any truly private buyers left out there, they tend to go for things like the new Honda Accord Rover 600 clones. And in that company, the 406 acquits itself well. The 405 had a good reputation for handling and agility like its little 205 brother. You really could hurl it around to your heart's content. This feels a much bigger car somehow. They seem to have gone for smoothness and comfort rather than the ultimate in tyre-wrenching adhesion. On these Provence mountain roads, it just ploughs determinedly ahead with understeer. There's never a hint of the rear wheels breaking away. Like the 405, this car is a three-box saloon. Peugeot has stuck doggedly to a separate boot, ignored the hatchback in this size of car, and have told their customers in the past that if they want a tailgate, they should buy an estate. It's a pleasing enough shape, but like so many new cars, the company proudly shows you the design sketches they went through that always seem a lot more sexy than the real metal. For this car, Peugeot parted company with good old Pininfarina. They went for their own in-house designers, who are fiercely proud of this baby and triumphant that the Italian maestro's designs were turned down in favour of their own. However, there's still a lot of traditional Peugeot lines. It's not a lot bigger than its competitors, but it certainly looks bigger, a more imposing car on the road than, say, a Mondeo. It's certainly a lot better trimmed than previous Peugeots. The contrast between the cream and black with the wood trim is very effective, but it's all rather old-fashioned, conservative with a small C. That coded immobiliser must be reset every time you switch on. The radio's built into the dashboard so it can't be nicked, and it's controlled with a steering column lever. And this model comes with automatic air conditioning. Although it's at the show, it won't be on sale in British dealers until early next year. Final specifications and trim levels haven't yet been decided, but it'll come with a choice of 4 engines, a 1.8 or 2-litre petrol and a 1.9 or a 2.1-litre turbocharged diesel. Don't let's forget, Peugeot's traditional cars left the company on the edge of bankruptcy. Their bacon was saved by the youthful appeal of the 205, light, agile and fast. You can't help wondering if that lesson's been forgotten by the 406 design team.